Hi there, I hope everyone is doing well. I just wanted to make this quick impromptu video to showcase a few things regarding some things I noticed in AD's player base that I would like to highlight, as well as some things about the state of the game that I feel more people need to be aware of. So, starting off with first of all, the fact of the game meta. In the past, at Tunnel 16, 17, when you had a meta attack strategy, it would remain viable for an extended period of time, 8 to 9 months, if not longer, maybe a year, maybe 2 years. You've got root riders, you've got your warden walks, your RC charges. Uh, However, at Town Hall 18, it's been fairly different in the sense that the meta has been evolving really, really fast, comparatively, relatively speaking. So, if you take a look outside of the game, 1 second, and go over here to YouTube, we'll see that Meteor Golems, when Town Hall 18 first came out, they were the meta. Everybody made strategy videos about how strong they were. But then they got nerfed, and then throwers got buffed, and then they were in the meta for a couple months. And then, obviously, with the release of the Dragon Duke and the new update, air spam is in the meta now. What I'm trying to get at is the past system where you could learn an army at the start of a new town hall and then coast along with it for the entirety of that town hall is no longer the case. And that if you want to be an active contributor to AD's success in the game, and you want to get easy 3 stars, reliably easy 3 stars in ranked, in clan, or leagues, you will need to be more aware of what the meta is and make an effort to learn whatever the meta attack strategies are. Now, I know there's going to be two main points of critique or opposition to this. The number one is regarding equipment levels, that with the meta is constantly shifting, it's not possible for anyone, especially those that are returning to the game, to have the relevant equipment leveled to be able to casually switch from a ground army to an air army, from a fireball warden walk to a support role warden, from using the Duke in one role to using the Duke in another role. And I completely get that. The second main point of opposition is the fact that this is a casual game for most people, is even in AD. And as a casual game, you don't want to go through the effort of learning and relearning different strategies every couple of months. You pick something you think is fun, you spec into it, you learn how it works, and you use it for the remainder of the year. That's how most people do it, anyways. So, regarding the first point on equipment level, the only pushback I'll offer is that max equipment are nice to haves, not must haves. And if you want to triple without modifiers in Clan War League and in ranked up till like Legends 3, you really don't need max level equipment. You just need to meet the minimum threshold of each equipment to be able to use it. There are a bunch of guides on YouTube on what the minimum required level for an equipment is that you can check out if you're interested in learning strategy, and you can upgrade that. I myself, on this alt account of mine, I have a level 17 meteor staff that was level 14, and I had no issues using it. I had a level 20 backpack up until recently, and I had no issues using that. Yes, everything else is leveled up, but the idea is that if you have certain epics that aren't leveled up, you should still be able to use these attack strategies uh, with some added difficulty. It won't be impossible to triple, it'll be fairly easy to triple, but you just need to work on the execution. The second point regarding this being a casual game and not wanting to be sweat a bit more and learn and relearn strategies, I completely get that. I'm not trying to make anyone or force anyone to play the game differently, but I just want to push you and prompt you to think about how you're compromising on your own capacity to contribute to the clan. If that's something that bothers you, or if you're interested in being the best player that you can be with the minimal amount of effort needed, then you can consider switching armies every 5 or 6 months at least. Uh, but that's up to you. If provided you do want to actually change and learn the new current meta, which is air attacks, I think we can get into that. There's a few different armies. There's no one fixed army that's the absolute strongest. You can use super dragons, you can use hydra, you can use super dragon riders, you can use all sorts of these variations with different compositions. uh, I myself, I've been using Dragon Riders because I feel like they're the easiest to use. Uh, but there's three main things to be cognizant of regardless of what air attack you're using. Number one is how are you using the Duke. Number two is how you're cutting the funnel for your main attack, and number three is your spell and warden ability usage. So first off, regarding the Dragon Duke, there's three ways to use him right now in the meta. There is the standard Fireheart and the Stun Blaster, where you send him with the Angry Jelly to clear a compartment, and you use a totem spell or two to soak up some of the heavy damage, and you're basically cutting the funnel using that, and then you attack with your main army in conjunction with that somewhere else. The second approach is using the Duke with the backpack and the giant arrow to clear some defenses and get some value. This is how I typically am using the Dragon Duke on most of my accounts. And the third, which is a relatively new tech, is using the flame equipment. I don't know what's the name of it. It's the flame blower. Yeah, so the flame blower with the backpack, and you can basically clear out an entire compartment very quickly with this. I'm using this on my main account where I have the flame blower upgraded, but for every other account where I don't, I'm just sticking to the backpack and the Fireheart. And so the way you're using the Duke will instruct how you're creating the funnel, and then it will also instruct how you're using the spells. So if you go into my Legends League log, Legends 3, you'll notice that I haven't failed so far, thankfully, and I'm defending reasonably well. So I think I have a decent chance of promotion, provided I don't fail majorly in my remaining attacks. And what I've been doing is I've been using the backpack and the giant arrow to craft a funnel for myself. So if you go to this replay, let's see, hopefully this is a good base, otherwise we can go to the next one. This is a pretty bad base, so it won't be a good example. Let's switch over to something else. Come on, internet, why are you letting me down? There we go. Attack log, replay. I think this one is the better base. So pausing it here and turning on my pen. Where is it? Control Shift 3. There we go. Okay, so you'll notice over here that there's a very easy Duke arrow. So I can send the Duke down here like so. And then with the giant arrow, I can, because there's no buildings down here, I can't send it straight up. So I'll have to send it from the side over here, like so, and then take out this entire section of the base, these defenses. And once that's done, you'll notice that once I deploy my Dragon Riders over here, they're going to naturally go like so. So that's what I mean by how you're using the Duke and then how you're cutting the funnel. And then third aspect of how you're using the spells, this is something that you'll get with more practice of the army, but you can use your totems to distract the guardians, to distract main high DPS defenses and stuff like that, and so on and so forth. But I won't belabor the point. Let's just go back to the replay, speed it up, because I think this was pretty, yeah. Flame blower, giant arrow, cleared this entire section, started with my main attack over here, and they followed alongside. At the top, used my overgrowth for this rage compartment to take some damage off of my Duke, and it's a fairly easy triple, no advanced mechanics required, just some good, I would say spell usage. And not even good spell usage, like okay spell usage. If you're in Legends 1, you need good spell usage. If you're in anything below that, then okay usage will cut it. You can see non-maxed troops, non-maxed heroes, non-maxed pets, and I'm tripling with ease, essentially. Nothing's going wrong. So in fact, what I'll do is I'll do one live attack and sort of showcase what my thought process is when I'm doing these sorts of attacks in Legends 3. Now, let's see what base I find. This is fairly bog standard. I mean, again, this is not a competitive base because this is Legends 3, but I'm essentially Control Shift 3, turn on the pencil. Okay, so I'm going to send the Duke like this, target this, and then it'll go up there, and then I'm going to giant arrow down here and clear all of this, and then go from one other side. Two, two. Okay. This is my first time attacking with keyboard and mouse, by the way, so this is going to be a painful experience. How do people do this, man? How do people do this? And then so I just use a totem like so. Warden ability, even though nothing is really damaging anything, I'll use my rage like so. Another totem, some rocket loons to funnel my main army somewhat like so. Overgrowth to take care of that sweeper and the revenge tower. Why do I have screen shake on? That is very frustrating. But yeah, you can see this is shaping up to be a pretty easy attack. I believe this is my Duke, so I'm going to revive him. I'm going to freeze this. I'm going to add a Skelly spell over here just to sort of keep distracting things. And you'll see with fairly shitty spell usage, bad deployment, because I'm not used to attacking on PC and I'm tripling fairly easily. I don't want to, you know, I am tripling, right? Yeah, I'm tripling fairly easily. Let's just drop another freeze here and it's done with the swag poison. So the idea is simple. However you're using the Duke, I'll switch to the other stun blaster and show how that works in the next attack. I'll swap out the earthquakes, but you get the idea. Let's go to edit my army. Let's change off of the, let's go to that. Let's keep that on there. I don't need the earthquakes anymore. I can take another totem. I can take, I would say, an invis spell, because I think that sometimes pairs nicely. And I think I'm just gonna go ahead into the next attack with this change. So let's say you don't have the backpack upgraded, you can use this. So how are we going to approach this? I don't want to go into the monolith. I don't want to go into the CC. This looks good because I want to get these sort of defenses down. So I'm going to send my Duke here to this mortar. He's going to, so let me actually draw this out a bit. Control Shift 3, there we go. So I'm going to send my Duke here. He's going to go here, here, clear some of these defenses, and then after that, if he dies, he dies. I don't really care, and I can start my army from somewhere else. Control Shift 7, there we go, got rid of that. Send that in. Totem to distract major things, and he's going into the base. Keep letting him go there. Oi, why are you going up there? Come down here. And then stun. That should ensure that I get that out here, and then one more totem like so. I don't think I need to be using this many totems. I just am because I can, and I want to carve a deep funnel as possible. So let's do this. 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 As you can tell, my deployments are absolute garbage. And let me just use warden ability like so. Freeze like so. And you can tell, by the way, how good I am at this by the fact that my entire attack is basically just dead at this point. I'm going to this, bring back that poison, the CC, and ability like so. I don't even know if I'm tripling, but I have one freeze still, and the Duke's got up here. So again, terrible execution. I used too many totems for the initial attack, but it looks like I'm still going to triple, hopefully. And that's the key takeaway. If you just learn what the current meta strategy is for the next 2 months, you're good to go. you can get the 21 stars in Clan War League. You can crush in rank till about Legends 2, after which it's a bit of RNG to get to Legends 1, and then in Legends 1, it's a bit of sweating to actually know the proper spell placements and everything. But if you're like a casual player, then just pick up whatever's meta, adjust it to your liking, use it a few times, practice with it, and you're good to go. And so the reason I'm making this video is because I still see AD players that are using meteor golems, that are using throwers, and I understand it's an easy army, you know how it works, and changing from it requires some time. Just take the weekend, the next weekend that's coming, or a weekend after, where you have like 30-40 minutes, pick up the army composition. I'll have it linked. I'll have a few different ones linked in this video, and you can pick any of them and start using them, and I guarantee to you, you will be tripling with ease. Right? And if you don't have the Dragon Duke, then you can there's other armies with the RC charge you can use as well. But I'm sort of getting past, or I'm going beyond what the video was meant to be. To summarize, Town Hall 18 meta changes every 2 months. It's important that if you're wanting to be somewhat competitive or wanting to triple a lot more, that you need to be aware of this change in the meta and to just preemptively switch to whatever is good, and start utilizing it more. I think I'll stick to that. I won't go any further. Thanks for your time, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.